Welcome back, guys, to CFL Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. We got our review of Week 20 of CFL action. Quite an interesting week, I must say so myself. And yeah, let's get right into it. But first, before we get into that, we got to talk about today's sponsor, which is BetStamp. Now, BetStamp is not a traditional sports betting website. It does not offer you one money line. It will actually offer you many money lines from a variety of sources and other betting websites. So that way you can make the most for every bet you make. So make sure when you download it from the App Store, or if you use the link in the description below to the website, you will use code CFL Central, so that way they know that you're coming from us and you're saving money. So that way you can make the most out of your bets and get the biggest possible payout instead of whatever just your app will offer you. So thanks again to BetStamp for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. So, first game of the week we got is the Red Blacks versus the Ticats. They have faced off a few times here, so a bit interesting with that. But the Red Blacks don't quite prevail. Just come up 3 points short. Hamilton wins at home, third in the East. And we will get to why that's important later in this video, but this is one of the things Hamilton needed if they would want to clinch that playoff spot in the CFL playoffs in the East. I think you guys are already knowing where I'm going with that. But yeah, overall, a solid performance here by the Ticats, who are really consistent, although it's interesting to see kind of the breakdown of when the kind of points were coming in, just because it got 10 points in that first quarter, got 2 in the second and third, got 3 points respectively in each, and then 14 in the fourth. Ottawa gets almost everything they have in the second quarter. 0 in the first, 21 in the second, 0 in the third, 6 in the fourth. So overall, Hamilton's able to keep them pretty well at bay, but I think what's going to be really important for them come playoff is not really collapsing at all. They kind of collapsed that second quarter and allowed Ottawa to get away with a lot of offense in a very, very small short period of time. And so that's just got to be something you got to avoid. Sean Thomas Erlington had a really solid game running for the Ticats. I think he got 104 yards. So overall, pretty solid game by him. Tim White had another great performance. Dane Evans was just kind of fine. He didn't throw any touchdown passes, but threw an interception. Not exactly ideal, but it could be worse, I guess. But overall, Hamilton, all things considered, they're able to come away with the win, which, at the end of this is what they needed. And our next game of the week would be the BC Lions versus the Edmonton Elks. Edmonton extends their losing streak at home and not being able to get anything done. Reminder, they have still not won a home game as the Edmonton Elks. This was before the name change that they were that they had any sort of success there at home, that is. But yeah, overall, Vernon Adams Jr. would have a solid game. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a lot better of a ratio there. Trey Ford would play quite a bit for the Elks here, and put up an interesting performance. He was able to get 242 yards, so not bad, but it was an average of about 6.7, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, still not perfectly ideal, but 242, not bad for a guy who's not playing every week. It could be worse. This was a really, really good performance for the running core, I felt, of the Lions here, especially James Butler, putting up 141 yards, got himself a touchdown. So really good to see that the Lions have that confidence running the football and being able to put up those kind of numbers that they need to against Edmonton. And it's funny, them, just like the Red Blacks, except they actually won this game. BC, 17 points in the second quarter. So some second quarter magic for some teams so far this week. Let's see if that continues. But yeah, overall, good game for the Lions, able to win 31-14. Not much you can complain about there. And that will bring us kind of into our third game of this week, which is going to be the Toronto Argonauts versus the Montreal Alouettes. I said that this game was going to be important simply as a precursor come playoffs. Now, the thing is how much are you going to play your starters? Because, like I said, both of these teams have locked their spots up. But this could be our Eastern final. So it's interesting to see the parallels. And it was 24-23 for the Argos. So a very, very tight game. Bethel Thompson Bethel Thompson and Trevor Harris both having a little bit of a better record between their touchdowns and interceptions this week. 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions for both of them, respectively. And then William Stanback is still back for the Alouettes. Puts up only 65 yards. Not exactly what you would hope with William Stanback. It could have been worse, but it could have been a lot better. He still needs to adjust and get back up to full speed. Wieneke, I believe how you say that. Wieneke. I feel like I'm butchering that name. I'm so sorry. I know who it is. I can't. I've never been able to say his name. I've always struggled with it. 121 yards receiving, 24.2 for average, only 5 receptions. That is a great number. That is a great stat there for the Alouettes. Got himself a touchdown as well. Alouettes very, very second half heavy. 17 points in that last quarter. And, Montreal puts up a really good run for their money against Toronto. But the issue is if you're going to want to win against Toronto, who is first in the East, you can't just show up to play right at the fourth. You can get a lot of stuff done, but it's very difficult to win football games just by showing up in the fourth. The Bombers have gotten away with it a lot of times. I've given them some flack for that. They have had some reality checks along the way with that. But, it's really important to not rely just on your fourth quarter. And I think that was just kind of what's got to be the main thing coming out for the Alouettes. But then our last game of the week, which was the big decider, the Calgary Stampeders win 32-21 and put the nail in the coffin of the Saskatchewan Roughriders' playoff dreams. Saskatchewan has officially been eliminated from playoff contention. They will not cross over to the East. Hamilton locks up that spot. So Hamilton won, Calgary won, Saskatchewan lost, Saskatchewan's out. So wow, what a crazy turn of events. I am interested to see what happens in Saskatchewan this offseason. There's been a lot of talk that Cody Fajardo may not be returning. That's entirely possible. There's been talks of them signing Bo Levi Mitchell. I don't know if that's your best move. The Riders have been in free fall for what feels like a few months now. And this is kind of the final, like I said, nail in the coffin. So Saskatchewan has to do something to change something going into next season. I think Craig Dickinson has had enough time there, to be honest, and that a coaching change would probably do a good amount, especially as we saw kind of the dis-synergy between coach and players, where he'd go to his players and say one thing and then go to the media and be like, oh yeah, no, we're actually terrible. And then his team and his players comment on that post, what the fuck, coach? Why didn't you just tell us? So not a good scene in Saskatchewan, and I feel bad for Rider fans also that this has to be the year that Saskatchewan hosts the Grey Cup. So they don't even make the playoffs and then are reminded about the teams that did immediately after. Kind of sucks for them, but is what it is. Especially since the Bombers have the opportunity to possibly three-peat in Saskatchewan, which is just salt in the wound. But yeah, this is overall this is a very, very good game. Both teams really didn't have a weak spot of the game. Both teams really played a lot better in the second half. A lot more of a shutdown defense in the first half, trying to figure something out, get something moving. Jamal Morrow just kind of played okay. Shaford Baker had a solid game for the 3 receptions he got. He got 20.3 yards on average with those. Phil Pott did well as well. Although he only got thrown to twice. I'm surprised Jake Mayer didn't really put more of that offense towards Phil Pott. He's been playing these good amount of minutes, and he's had a good amount of reception in some of these past games, so I'm surprised they didn't go to him more than just 2 times, especially when, like I said, he got 32 yards both times. So this is I'm more or less just kind of curious to see where this goes, because now we know what the playoffs are going to be. The playoffs are going to be on the West, Winnipeg, BC, Calgary. Now, BC, Calgary, that might switch. I'm not sure. But the point is, those are going to be your 3 teams. And in the East, you're going to have Toronto, Montreal, Hamilton. So I'm excited. I'm excited for where this is going to go. We still got a little bit of football left, and, let's just kind of see what we get. So, yeah, Calgary wins 32-21 over the Riders. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Comment down below what you thought of this week of football, and I'll see you guys next time.